Hey YouTube, this is Nathendo145 back again with a collecting tip video. This collecting tip is going to be collecting tip number 9, and it's going to be called Test Everything. When I say test everything, it should be obvious. If you're a collector and you collect electronics like I do, which is many collectors on YouTube, you got to make sure that you test them because you don't want to buy something that does not work. So, what I mean by that, like when you search on eBay, don't look for things that are always cheap because that means that like something's broken and nobody's going to want that. You want things at like a reasonable price. That means that it works. So like I'm not showing you game examples. I'm going to like tour around my entire room since it's all filled with stuff. Like for example, when I got Mario 3D World from my aunt last week. I only got it in the case with no artwork and stuff, so I was a bit suspicious that this wouldn't have worked, especially since that was the case with when she gave me Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on the same console. And I was suspicious that this one didn't work because it had a few fingerprints on it, but in the end it did end up working, so I'm glad for that. So, and I gotta test all these consoles too. Like, you want to make sure that condition, we've already talked about condition, so it's important to know that or have good condition of that, as well as testing your items to make sure they work. Like, I have a bunch of controllers here, and they all work just fine, and make sure on the eBay listings, like, if you're buying things from eBay and they show pictures of the consoles working, that is when I'll definitely be considering buying them, simply because they work, and it's proven they work because they've shown a picture. You don't want to buy something that is like, it just shows like a picture of the console regularly, especially from eBay, because then you don't know exactly what you're getting. And I'll talk about that next time. This one's all about just testing everything. So, all these games here, when you test them, there can be some downsides of them not working. Like, discs can be scratched up, cartridges can have dirt inside them, and so forth. With discs, on eBay, I just make sure that I get complete in-box disc games for these consoles here, for my home consoles here. For those, I just search for CIB when I type in the game, then I type CIB, and then I make sure I look for one that it says very good condition. That's always what I look for, and I can find them at very good prices, or they're sold at very good prices, or at reasonable prices. Hopefully, in another collecting tip, I will talk about how to use eBay for buying things. With cartridges, you want to make sure that there's no dirt in the cartridges. You want to make sure that in the insides of the cartridge, there's no dirt. Like, I've talked about this a few times already, but if you're watching this video, I'll tell you that when I first bought Mario Kart DS, this is not the copy that this issue happened with. Of course, this is a newer copy that I got 2 years ago. But when I got Mario Kart DS originally, there was dirt in the cartridge, and I didn't realize until testing it that there was dirt in the cartridge. So unfortunately, I had to wait until my brother could take me to another store to buy that game, and I did, and that's this copy right here that you see, and it works perfectly fine, and I can play that game with no issues. So you want to make sure that that is the case, and if like a game comes with something special, like in the sense of Wii Sports Resort, let me just take it out here. With Wii Sports Resort, it comes with Wii Motion Plus inside this box. Like, it comes with the big sleeve with the actual Motion Plus adapter. You want to make sure that works so plug it into your Wii Remote controller and just see if it works, because you want to make sure that it'll work. Usually, you shouldn't have issues with Wii Remote plugins or things that you plug into the bottom of the Wii Remote. With those kinds of things, you shouldn't really have issues with, because it's not common that they have issues. With controllers, I'll use a controller again. Like, I'll talk about a controller. You want to make sure that the joysticks, like with this Xbox controller, you want to make sure, like, these pieces that are on here, like, you shouldn't take them off, because then it doesn't look like a controller that somebody's going to want, simply because it's not in the best condition. Like, you want to make sure that these pieces are on here. Like, these, it's not gonna, like, it's hard to explain and you're not going to notice it unless you take it off. But, like, these are actual, like, you see these dots here? That's actually like a grip that's on the joystick. Like, you want to make sure those are there. You want to make sure the controller isn't dirty. And you want to make sure that, like, it turns on. A way you can tell that with the Wii remote controllers is by, like, if you press a button, if you put batteries in it, and, like, it blinks. Like, if you press the 1 and 2 buttons, it'll blink repetitively. But if it blinks at all, then you can tell that it works. I'm using this Mario controller, for example. But I have one Wii remote controller that doesn't, like, there's battery corrosion in the terminals, so it doesn't work. It doesn't work the best. Like, you click it and, like, it blinks, but the blinking, like, stops after a period of time, or, like, after a number of seconds. Like, the blinking stops, and it stops longer than it should. So, because there's corrosion in the terminals. So you want to make sure that if a controller uses batteries, like, you want to make sure that the battery, the insides of the battery compartment do not have corrosion in them, because otherwise they won't work. So that's, I don't think I really have much else to say. So just test everything, and you really just want to test everything as soon as you get them. That's, like, the main point of testing it. And I do a lot of testing videos on the channel, some of which are in my most viewed videos, which I'm really proud to see that. But they're just simple videos, but you guys love them for some reason, so I appreciate that. I don't really need to know the reason why you love them, but I really appreciate that you do love those videos. And I haven't really been posting that much. I want to get back to doing this, but I've been busy with schoolwork and such. And just life in general. Now that I'm back, it's January, it's the new year, a lot goes on once the new year starts, so I'm hoping to be back. I'm hoping to post more videos, and I will post more. And I'm still working on that other video for, like, the console comparisons, so when that video comes out, be prepared, because of what you guys voted for in that community poll. So to sum up for this video, test everything as soon as you get it. You don't want to wait a number of days to say, like, there's an issue, because otherwise, especially with eBay, they're not going to return. If they allow returns, there could be no returns accepted on it. So if it's a bad condition thing, you don't want to get it. And if, like, there could be, like, a limited time you can return it. Otherwise, you can't return it. And, like, it's yours. Like, they're just going to say you broke it, especially if you buy things in person and you wait too long. You can't. Even if you have your receipt, they're not going to want it, especially if it's broken. So you need to give it back to them, or, like, you can't give it back to them, rather. So test everything right when you get it. That's the summary of this video. So stay tuned for more videos from Nathendo 145, and have a good day.